What's up, guys? I'll be showing you how to file taxes and get a tax refund even if you had no job for the entire year. So today we'll be on TurboTax. If you have an account, then sign in, and if you don't, then you want to create an account. Your homepage will look a little bit different, but my homepage starts where I left off at because I made the last tax video with this same account. But don't worry, I'll revisit all of the questions so you can see what you'll run into when filling out the return. As you can see, this return will be for Illinois, and the next return will be for Pennsylvania. I'm just doing whatever state you guys tell me in the comment section. But let's revisit your info section. Obviously, you want to put your real name and date of birth. And when you get down to occupation or job title, then it's okay to just put the company's name. If you want to get creative, then you can see what positions are held at whatever company you're using and put that job title in the box instead. For this example, we're using a food company named Conagra Brands. They're headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, so it would go perfect with someone who lives in Illinois, or more specifically, Chicago. I'll show you how you can find companies like this one in a second, but when you get done on this page, hit continue. On this next page, you want to put your real address, city, state, zip code, and phone number. When you get done, hit continue. The next page, you want to enter your real social security number. I just made up one for the video, so this one right here is not real, just in case YouTube is wondering. But when you're done, hit continue. The next page wants to know what state you lived in for the entire year, and we'll just put Illinois since everything we're doing is about Illinois. Our employer is in Illinois and our home address is in Illinois, so we'll just put Illinois. Then for any other situations that apply, click none of these apply, then hit continue. The next page is about your household. This is where you can choose your filing status, and for this one, we'll file single. And for if I have any dependents, I'll select no, but if you do, you can get an extra $2,200 for each child you have. But after that, just hit continue. Now that we're done filling out our info, we can go down to other income. So they basically want to know if you make money in other states. Personally, I would always select no and let them find out for themselves, but maybe that's just me. But after you select no, hit continue. So now, that should be everything you have to fill out about your personal information. Now, anytime you get to this screen right here, just go scroll down and select Don't Add Max. That way everything remains free except for the state tax refund, which is around $40 to file that is taken directly from the refund amount, so you don't have to pay anything today. But now that we're done with that, we have to add our wages and income, which determines how big of a tax refund we get. So now you want to click on Work on my W-2 and hit continue. On the next page, they ask you for your employer's identification number, and this is where we have to find a company to use and get all of its information from a public database. So, in order to get an employer's identification number, which is also called an EIN, we have to do a search for the top public companies and select one from the list. On the right-hand side, you can see exactly what city or state they're located in, and that can help you find a company that's located in your state. That'll just make it a little bit more believable for when you file your return. But the company I eventually chose was Conagra Brands. So now that we know what company we're using, we have to go to the Edgar website and do a company search to retrieve all of their information. So we'll just copy and paste the company's name into the search box and click submit. As you can see, we already can look at the address of the company, which we'll use in a little bit. Also, you can see that this company is headquartered in Illinois, which is a good sign. Sometimes the search results look a little bit different, but this time we have to go down here and click on Documents to get the employer's identification number. Once we're inside of Documents, if we scroll all the way down, then we can find the EIN number, and that's exactly the number we need. So now we just copy this number and paste it inside of our box. Also, they give us the address again right here. So we'll copy that number, paste it inside of the box, and hit continue. If you get to this page where it wants to automatically add your W-2, then click Change How I Enter My Form. The next page wants you to upload your W-2, but just click Type It Myself so we can add the numbers for our refund. Next, we have to fill out the rest of the employer's information. Everything we need is on the company search page, so let's go copy and paste it. Now that we have the company's information done, we'll just hit Continue. Now we get to the income and taxes withheld, basically the most important part. So we clearly have to make up the numbers for box number 1, 3, and 5, and also make them believable. So for this example, let's go with $67,300 for wages and tips. For Social Security wages, let's just go with $5,425. And then for Medicare wages, let's do the same amount, $5,425. And yes, it's okay for these two amounts to be different or the same. It doesn't matter, it can still work. But now we have to find out how much federal taxes should be withheld from our amount of $67,300. And if we look right here, tax percentage ranges can go from 10 up to about 37%. So what I like to do is use around 22% withheld. So we'll go to our percentage calculator and we'll see how much 22% is of $47,300. And our number is $14,806. We can round it up to $14,810 and put that number inside of box number 2. Now we have to see how much taxes withheld from our Social Security wages. If we look here, it says the percentage is about 6.2% withheld. So now we'll go back to our percentage calculator and we have to see how much is 6.2% of $5,425. And our number is around $336, so we'll put that number inside of box number 4. Next, we have to see how much taxes withheld from our Medicare wages. And as you can see here, it's saying it should be about 1.45% withheld. So now we go back to the percentage calculator and see how much 1.45% of $5,425 is. And our number is around $79, so that's the amount we'll put inside of box number 6. Now that we're finished with the federal part, we'll move on to the state, which is optional and you don't have to do it because most of your refund check will come from your federal return and not your state return. But let's move on to the state anyway. So for box number 15, you want to select your state, and remember, all states don't file state taxes. But after you pick your state, you need your employer's identification number, and that's the same number from earlier. So you want to go back and get that number, then paste it inside of this box right here. Now for state wages and tips, we just want to go back up to box number 1 and use this exact number. Just copy and paste it if you have to. Next, we have to see how much percentage is withheld from the state wages. If we look here, for Illinois, it should be around 4.95%. So now we'll go back to our percentage calculator for the last time, and we have to see how much 4.95% is of $67,300. And our number is around $3,330. So we'll take that number and put it inside of box number 17. Once you get done with that, make sure to look over the page to make sure everything looks okay, and when you get done, click continue. Now as you can see, it's showing us how much of a federal refund we'll be getting back. It also shows how much we'll get back for state, and it's always a smaller amount. I also have Arkansas's refund on here too, because that was the last video I did. But don't worry, I'll delete that state return later. But now I'll show you how easy it is to get a bigger refund just by changing 2 numbers. So let's go back into the income worksheet and change something really quick. If we go to box number 2 and change the federal income tax withheld to a higher amount, then we'll get a higher return. Every $1,000 you add to the number, you'll then get an extra $1,000 on your tax return. So if we put this amount to $19,000, then we'll get back a $13,000 tax return. And if we go back and change the amount to $25,000, then we'll get back a $19,000 tax return. And $19,000 is the highest amount anyone should ever go if they don't want to put too much attention on themselves. But when you get done, hit continue. And you can follow along through the rest of the process, but everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. But make sure to let TurboTax do its checks to make sure everything is correct and looking good. Other than that, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Until next time.